The State of Rugby in New Zealand, an investigation into the issues facing the sport, a year out from the Rugby World Cup. The question, to ruck or not to ruck?
If there was one law that I could change, it would be the rucking. There's just so much uncertainty, there's so much confusion, frustration, and even to some degree anger that some of the players have expressed because, you know, it differs from one hemisphere to another. And I think, you know, if there's one law that I could change, it would be that. Bring back the ruck.
I just wonder if the modern game has sort of ceased thinking and it's just too dismissive of things that we used to do in our game. And we all go on about bring back rucking, and you think, yeah, please. You know, we're not talking about stamping on people's heads. We're not talking about free-flowing claret. We're just talking about what was a core skill in the game, which was moving bodies out of the way with your boots to get to the ball to speed things up. That's pretty obvious, isn't it? You know, I'd like to see that come back.
Yeah, to be totally fair about it, if you go back to the days when I played, rucking certainly was good. You knew that if you were on the ground in possession of the ball, that you let it go real quick and you rolled clear real quick. But like it with anything else, there are always those people who will try and take advantage of the situation, and you know, there was trampling and stomping and people's limbs and heads and whatever getting in the way, and people who weren't responsible about rucking. And I saw lots of players back then, you know, with their heads ripped open, really, because they just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. So I think that side of it needed to be policed and legislated against. And I think we do see that, you know, stomping isn't allowed in the game. But having said that, a good game played with good rucking and players who were aware of what they needed to do produced a great spectacle.
My personal hat would be that if we could use our feet in a very judicious way and got the ball cleaned out, we would fix a lot of the issues with the breakdown. My rugby union hat on, though, of course, is at the moment you do it at the top end of the game where you can very carefully scrutinise, monitor and put judiciary across it, is not mirrored at the community game. And you'll be very careful that you don't do something at the top end that's going to create problems for making mums want their kids to play the game when they're 5, 6 and 7.
You know, if mummies around the country are a little bit worried about Johnny and what that's going to, you know, what the image of the game and what rucking looks like, well, you know, my mum was never worried. I mean, I took some good boots in my time. You know, I didn't really think, you know, I tried to avoid going in there, but, you know, if you did, it wasn't the end of the world. You know, these are the kind of things I think grumpy people like me can't understand.
Well, I played my first rep game against Southland, and if I had any ideas about lying on the ball, they were very, very quickly thrown out the window once the Southland forwards had gone over the top of you. And I mean, it fixed everything up. The referee hardly needed to get involved. You knew darn well if you put your hand on the ball, you'd get the skin rucked off it, or if you lay over the ball, you'd get spat out the back. And I mean, proper rucking, I'm not talking about booting or even stomping, proper rucking, you know, you get a few sprig marks on you and it stings a bit in the shower, but it doesn't really do you any harm. And the other thing is that it provides a situation where people, there's no incentive to go in and do that sort of thing. If you know that there's a pack of forwards going to run over the top of you, you won't do it. And a lot of that stuff would be fixed up. But you know, in today's hamby-pamby society, maybe it won't come back.
If you had a chance to have an audience with the IRB bigwigs, what would you like to see tweaked?
I'd like to see rucking come back. I think your breakdown would just clean up straight away. Like, you wouldn't have people lying over the ball because they know they're going to get rucked. I'm not talking about kicking, I'm talking about rucking.
What are the chances of that happening?
0.
If rucking was brought back in, it would mean that the players would control the collision area, and you would have to be pretty stupid and psychopathic to flop over to a ruck where you know you might get a couple of tags down your bum, and it's sore when that happens. Oh, that hurts. So unless the area would then be controlled and authorised by the players. and it would take a brave man to keep on doing that day after day because he wouldn't survive.
I think the biggest problem at the moment is the tackler. The tackler's not releasing the tackle player, so he's preventing him playing the ball. So even when he gets up on his feet, he's still holding on to the tackle player and maybe holding on to the ball at the same time. There has to be a time when he releases the tackle player, gets on his feet, and then can attack the ball again. So I think really if we actually referee the law, we'd be better off. I know it sounds simplistic, but we're inclined to go down tangents and say this is how we're going to referee this particular law, and I think people are getting their heads on that now, and I think you'll see improvement over the next year.
You tend to find that the ones who are getting rucked a lot are cheating the most. And it could be manipulating the rules, and who might have said that you shouldn't do that? You do, if you can. And if you can get away with it, you will lie on the ball and make little effort and say your legs are pinned there and you can't get out of the ruck and so on. And you get a tickle up from a ruck. That's slowing the ball down. That allows your team to organise its defence and the opposition not. So the advantage of the ruck was always delivering quick ball. And people who slow down the play, which is what teams at international level spend a lot of time working out ways to slow down how quickly the opposition get the ball. It's one of the key elements of the whole thing. So therefore, you're not going to see, when you've got players and coaches that are hell-bent on finding ways to do that, you're not going to get a lot of tries because they've found ways in the ruck to get to slow the ball down. So rucking disturbs that issue because you're going to get rucked a lot if you're going to be slowing the ball down. And you can see so many times players that are slowing the ball down, and I think it would be a totally different game if the ruck came back in, because there would be such a lot. We'd learn very quickly that that's not really the tactic, that's not really what the law book is designed to do. Find a place in the law book that says we should be slowing the opposition ball down, and I'll withdraw all this.
A good game played with good rucking and players who were aware of what they needed to do produced a great spectacle. Lots of continuity and lots of speed. The ball came back real quick, and we did see a better standard of rugby. So I guess I am ambivalent. The answer's a bit sit on the fence, but a good rucking game was an attractive game to watch.
The ball comes out quick from second phase, third phase, we've got some action. If you wait and wait and wait, it's coming, wait, hold on, it's coming. Oh, no, it's coming. Ref, hand there. You look at the referee to control that area. Well, a little wee boot on the top of a guy's bum and hand who's got the ball, well, certainly would say, well, we're going to do that all day, mate, and so your hand's going to get broken. If you want to be stupid enough to do that all day, good luck. So the players would control that area, and the ref wouldn't have any control.
The balance between what is a thuggery act, what is a criminal act, what is safe, what is good for parents to be able to witness on the... Today, you can't get away with anything now, because the cameras are so onto it, and people are more educated now. They understand the rules, and they understand the reasons behind it, and they understand the intentions of that particular player. But I don't know whether it's to try and continue to attract people to the game, that they got rid of this law, but, we're not thugs. The rugby players aren't thugs. They are men who want to play the game, and sure, like any other sport, they want to take the law right to the edge. And that's part of, why we have rules, and why, because you're going to have someone who's really good, like the Richie McCaws, who'll keep the referees right on the edge, who'll question the referees' ability to understand the rules themselves. And so we need that in the sport.
Rucking is all about marketing. It's just been badly sold to the marketplace, if you like. Let's get rid of the term rucking. Let's get a marketing guru onto this to come up with a different word, to fool the IRB. Let's just use a different word for it. And then, oh, that's good. We've got a new component in the game. The problem with rucking was it became a blurred point where there were activities which were not rucking. There was stamping, and there were people getting heads stood on, and there was an element of violence, unacceptable violence that was attached to some components of the game because there was a legitimate use of feet. Now, that doesn't mean you should throw the baby out with the bathwater. Doesn't mean that we should worry about soccer mums around the country having heart attacks because boots are going on bodies. The product fails without quick release ball. The product fails if you have bodies piling in, and even people like me who are supposed to have some vague idea about what's going on are sitting there going, I wouldn't have the first clue why that's a penalty, why that's a free kick, because you've got 16 men, bump. That will happen all the time. Physically, it's impossible for guys not to fall over each other when you get into that scenario. The best way, the most efficient way to stop that is to allow dynamic body positions into the contact, and if the ball is stuck, or if there are bodies who are flopping over the top of the ball from the opposition, then you should be allowed to move those bodies in a backwards motion, raking them out of the way, just gently reminding them that you're not meant to be there. We'll get you out of the way. It's all right. We won't rely on the referee to do that. We will do it for you, referee. Allow us to police the game ourselves. It's perfect. I mean, I played in Scotland, and we took everything off. Our whole game plan was built on what the All Blacks did, and we were big ruckers as well. And it's not the most pleasant thing being rucked out of the way, but neither does it scar you for life. You get a few sprig marks, but I tell you what, you roll out of the way pretty bloody quickly the next time. And the ball gets freed up, and the game is much, much better for it because you have dynamism in the collision, you have the ball moving forward all the time, and you have space opening up around you. You don't have these frustrating pile-ups, you don't have confusion around it, and it's boom, 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 boom. Rugby has missed out entirely as a result of not allowing guys to do it.